I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Rob Waugh, Managing Director of Musgrave Minerals. Rob has been Managing Director since their IPO in 2011. After 19 years with Western Mining and BHP, Rob moved to the junior exploration sector where he spent the last 15 years. Rob quickly identified his passion was exploration and has been involved in discoveries across multiple commodities over the journey, including nickel, copper, uranium and gold. Rob's current focus is the Q Gold Project in Western Australia's Murchison District. Thanks very much, Rob.
Thanks, Reg, and thanks to Diggers. Pleasure to be here. Those that are aware, Musgrave is in the midst of a takeover by Ramelius, so I'll take you through a bit of that, but also Musgrave and the story behind us. So you can see really here that share price has just picked up. We've had the Ramelius, we had the Westgold offer first in here, and then the Ramelius offer in here. Strong board. Board's been with us, the majority of the board's been with us since IPO. We've been going for 12 years. We picked up the Q Gold Project late in 2015. Started exploration in 2016. So important to note here, Musgrave's share price at the time was at 2 cents. We had about $2.5 million cash, and we came into this in a joint venture. Gold price was 1,200 Aussie. Things were tough in the gold industry at the time. We saw potential in the project. There's opportunity in here. You can see at the moment, Q project sits in here. It's about 40 kilometres north of Mount Magnet. The intent with Ramelius is to have Musgrave's Q ore moved into the Checkers Mill at Mount Magnet. It's roughly around 50 kilometres on road, 40 k's as the crow flies. The takeover announced Ramelius's offer was 3rd of July. Musgrave directors unanimously recommend that shareholders accept. Obviously the process is underway. Ramelius is sitting roughly just under that 30% at the moment. One of the, obviously the triggers, we've completed a PFS. Team has done a fantastic job. We've got Anthony Buckingham who's run the studies. Important to note here that at 2,600 gold, the net cash at a standalone operation was about 314 million. Obviously that involved 121 of pre-production capital. Ramelius coming in, obviously not going to spend all that capital. They don't need a plant, they have one at Mount Magnet. As we look forward, if we were looking at roughly at 29.50, the difference is about $100 million. So that's some current spot. So you're adding roughly about $100 million to the project value from 2,600 to 29.50. Big thank you to all those that contributed to the PFS released in April this year. Obviously a lot of work goes into it and a lot of contributions from a lot of different parties. So the project itself, we can see the Great Northern Highway running up here. This links Perth to the Pilbara. The project here is only about 4 kilometres from the highway, and the length from one end of our deposits to the other is about 5 kilometres in here. And this area is about 7 kilometres long. We have a joint venture with Evolution on the northern part of the tenure through here as well. Just in 3D, you can see the enormous amount of work and drilling that's gone into the deposits. The important discovery at break of day and the Starlight discovery was really made because we've sort of turned the rig around. So you can see in here most of the stratigraphy and the geologies running in that orientation and effectively turning the rig and drilling north-south led to the discovery at Starlight and subsequently to the discovery down here at White Heat. And these deposits are running around 10 grams, so they're quite instrumental in the economics of the overall project here at Q. As we look in a bit more detail, taking the drilling off, again, you can see some of the detail around the individual lodes here at Break of Day and White Heat, and the different orientations within those lodes compared to the overall stratigraphy at Lena, which is only about 100 metres further to the west. PFS ran some open cuts and a small underground development at Break of Day coming off the White Heat pit and into the Break of Day deposit. But some of those grades have been instrumental in the economics and how it looks in this project. And some of those in there, I don't know if you can read them at the back, but 14 metres at 190 at roughly only very close to surface from 4 metres below surface at Break of Day. As we look into the Break of Day deposit, and just running the verify model here, this is on the website, it's available in 3D, people can turn layers on and off. We can see some core, and within that, we've got here 5.6 metres at 12.7 grams, sitting at around in the underground at roughly around 260 metres depth. But again, we've got intervals in here running from 7 grams, 14 grams, 47 grams, back down to 7. And you can see it's a quartz-dominated lode, very pristine basalt host rock at Break of Day. A White Heat, only a couple of 100 metres to the south, very similar geology, very high grade. And then we move further to the south into stratigraphy and we look at the Big Sky deposit, Numbers deposits, a number of open cuts along these trends. You can see too, within here, there are some higher grade components at Big Sky, 28 metres at 35 grams, and understanding that high grade component in these deposits will unlock significant value moving forward, we think, as well. If we look at this system, the Big Sky system is 2.6 kilometres long, and if we move just to the north, we've got the Amarillo deposit sitting in here, not yet in resource, but we're hoping to get moving that through to resource in coming months. So again, just looking at the infrastructure, not all this infrastructure will be required going forward. This was based on a standalone basis. Obviously, tailings will not be required on site. Again, processing down at Checkers Mill at Mount Magnet. One of the things that we announced in the last week is some very high grade, some infill grade control drilling, and again, we're moving this deposit through towards development. Musgrave shareholders will benefit from this by being Ramelius shareholders. Ramelius and Mark at Ramelius has indicated that they're hoping to get Musgrave's Q ore into their Mount Magnet plant between 12 and 18 months potentially after acquisition. But some of the grades here are significant. You can see, you've got 19 metres, 112 grams, 27 metres below surface. Within this, we've got hard pan cover, so there's 4 metres of hard pan over the top of this, no gold in the hard pan cover. This is the reason why this deposit was not previously identified. This zone here is about 10 metres wide, and some of those intersections, the true width on those will be half roughly what we're seeing there in those intervals. In here, grade control drilling is down to about 30 metres, and that is really effectively the top of fresh rock. Directly below that, in fresh rock here, we've got 4 metres at 328. Some of the upside potential for the project, we've continued to drill, really understanding and interpreting this geology. The intersection of structures within the geology we're seeing here is important for the formation of some of these deposits. We've got new prospects like Amarillo that will move towards resource status, and we have been drilling to convert more inferred into indicated. Both number of these deposits are all open at depth. Break of Day, White Heat, the high grades have only been drilled to roughly around 300 metres. Some of the things we have in the pipeline, the new prospects moving forward, good results at Amarillo, as I mentioned. 11 at 8.4, Waratah we're seeing 4 at 30, and we also have east numbers in a potential trend out here. So these are the trends of the mineralisation, and we think we have parallel trends running on the eastern side of that as well. We have very high grades. You can see some of the very high grade. It's a metre at nearly 900 grams here at Big Sky in just over a 1.2 gram ore body. So there's definitely high grade components within that resource. Just on a gravity image, these are the structures that are hosting the mineralisation. We think we've got potential for another structure out here, and it's the intersection points within this where some of these deposits are forming. Some of these other intersections are yet to be tested, and these are the positions that will be tested moving forward. Also, we have a project just to the south of Mount Magnet, Mount Magnet South project. It's very close to the Checkers Mill. We're within 5 to 20 kilometres from that mill. Early stage, we're doing geochemistry on that at the moment. We have 100% ownership of that project too. So that's sitting down here. The Q project is located here. Moving forward, we've just completed grade control drilling, break of day and starlight lode. That's a tick announced this week. We're expecting results for wide heat and the twilight and velvet lodes as well. And we've just completed a testing of a few new targets in this break of day zone and region. And at Mount Magnet South, we've got geochem underway at the moment. ESG is an important component of what we do. We have great relationships with the Batamaya. We've got good relationships with the community in which we operate. Again, just touching on, the directors recommend that shareholders unanimously accept the Ramilius offer. Really de-risk the project. We think the opportunity is to get the Q ore processed at Mount Magnet more quickly and efficiently. And it's not possible to do any of the things we've done without a great team. I'd just like to acknowledge the Musgrave team and all the work that's been put in over a number of years here, 6.5 years working at Q, and the time before that as well. So thanks very much to everyone involved, and we're looking forward to what's next. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Rob. We are probably running a little bit behind time, so we'll have to skip the Q&A, but if you did want to go and talk to Rob, please go and see them at their booth. Thanks very much, Rob.